does it work?
Yeah, you need to have it close though.
Okay. The American film industry is totally the opposite of what Katri was talking about. In my mind, there are three industries. We all at the end create the same output, but there is the American film industry that is actually two different industries. One is the studio system and one is the independent system, which are very, very different in the way, and I'll explain. And then there is the European system, which is totally a different industry, if you can call it industry. American films are looked down by a lot of people because they're not deemed artistic. But the Americans, as everything else, build a business model with the film market, basically. The studio system is a well-oiled machine that is very geared toward making a product. And the product for Americans needs to sell. That's basically it. And the fact is that at the end of the day, we can say whatever we want about their artistic merits, but most of the world goes to see American films. And as Mark was talking about Russia, as my friends in France are complaining, everywhere in the world, people go to see American films more than they go to see other films because American films aim to the public taste. And most of the public taste is entertainment, is not so artistic. So basically in Hollywood, I started because I was very lucky, not because I was very special, but I started directly into the studio system. And within the studio system, I grew. I started in the financial department, and then very soon after, and I was working for all the major studios. And then I was offered a position as an executive at Fox. I did Die Hard 2 as an executive on the film. I worked a year on the film from conception to the end of it, which was a fantastic learning experience for me. Especially how the studio system works. And it's very bureaucratic, very, very bureaucratic, and this is why it works very well. Or it doesn't work very well. If you're an independent artist, it's very difficult to manipulate the system because there are very, very rough rules. You have to abide by the rules, you have to go by them. You'll be surprised that if you do a film as a producer in the studio system, you cannot come under budget. You can go over budget. You will have to come to the studio and say, I need more money, and they will mostly grant it to you. If you come under budget, they think that something is wrong with you because it reflects bad on them for their superiors, which they will come then to them and say, you over budgeted the film. And I did a film for Paramount Pictures, with a first-time director, and we started working, and she came to me in the middle and she said, I really need more money for post-production. I want to have this amazing music. I don't have enough money. Could you please try to find this money for me? And I did. I came under budget. I think it was like $500,000 in production, and the studio was not very happy about it. And they much rather her coming to them and ask for more money and I said to them, but we're going to use this money in the picture. It's not money that is coming back, but they weren't happy about it. So it's totally different from an independent company that I worked after, and they would say to me, we have $7 million for this film. Can you make it? And I would say, yes, I can make it. And then they would say, well, you have to make it for $6 million because the last $1 million is ours. And so I was geared to really try to save money as much as I can. And this was my habit when I was working for independent pictures. But in the studio system, it's different. And there is one thing I have to say about the studio system, especially in today's economy when you can see it. The reason they're now doing event films. They're doing huge 150 million, 300 million movies, and on account of the smaller movies that don't have money for them. But the reason it happens this way, and it shouldn't happen, I mean, most of the movies that cost this money, you can do for much less money, is because when they make a decision to make a film, let's say like Iron Man, because I was an executive, I know how it works. Someone comes and say to the head of the studio, we should do Iron Man. It's going to make us a lot of money. And in the meeting that they decide to do Iron Man, the marketing people are already there. And the marketing people say, oh, in 9 months, we have an opening in the theaters. And it's going to be whatever weekend, Christmas weekend or whatever. We should finish it now. And this is how they make the decision. Now, a film like Iron Man or something like this, you cannot possibly make in 9 months. Just the planning of the film and the planning of the art department and how you're going to do it should take probably a year and a half. If you take the time, and that says about every film, if you do a film for 2 cents or you do a film for 100 million, if you take your time to plan your film and plan it carefully and go over every detail of it, it's worth a lot of money afterwards, because once the camera rolling, every minute costs a lot of money. So this is why, once they start shooting, they pour so much money because they are not ready, because what the director wanted to do in the scene doesn't really work, because he wanted to do a 360 and he wanted a 50-foot crane, and actually in this room, it doesn't work. You need a 30-foot, so you have to wait. You have to change a crane, you have to think about alternatives why 300 people are sitting and waiting and getting paid. And this is why they cost so money, and this is why we as independent producers have less money to make films. So basically, it was a good ride. I did a lot of films as a line producer, some very big films. And then sometimes in my life I decided to become an independent producer, and therefore I became much poorer. It is not a very rewarding position to be an independent producer, because now it wasn't like the studio is sending me a script and say, can you do it for $30 million, and my lawyer negotiates the fee, and it's a great fee. Now I have to develop, and I have to go look for money, and I have to negotiate, and I have to over and over and over. And the last film I did, which is coming out this summer, took 4 years to do. So it's great, and it's very, very rewarding, and but it is what it is. So I can actually, talking about how to make films, I can give you an example of some of the films and how we put the packages together. I'll talk about packaging, actually, I think. You know, what is a package? You come to Hollywood, you have to have a package. The package, to my idea, should start with a very, very strong script. I think you should take more time to work on the script until the script is perfect, until you think it's a really strong script. Take more time and don't go out with a script that you think, we'll make changes later, or there'll be an actor that will want. A good script, even if you don't have a penny, can get you a good director and can get you a good actor, even better than you think. Actors, and there are a lot of them, don't have enough work. And some very high-paid actors will come and work for no money if you have a really